Yo, what is up, guys, and welcome back to uh, a new league which I am competing in. This is Student Racing League, which is a league run by the beautiful people over at Williams Esports. And yeah, this is round one from Abu Dhabi, as we're now gonna start heading into our first lap. So if you do want to see more of this Student Racing League content, then leave a like and subscribe to the channel down below. I want to get to 100 followers soon. But yeah, as we go to start our first flying lap, the lap time to be is a 22.8. So we'll have to see if we can get close to it. We do get a little bit distracted by the car on the inside though, turn one. But so far it has been a pretty clean lap. Now, we do have corner cutting on regular for these 2 rounds. What am I saying, 2 rounds? This is round one. But yeah, there is it's on regular because they're saying that the game is very a little bit deeper into the chicane, and we have to cut the track. So that's the first lap in the bin. As we now head on to start the second lap. But yeah, as I said, the reason why it's on regular is because the game is very strict with warnings, and people will get stupid warnings. So, but basically, if we see somebody do it consistently, we will report them. So yeah. But yeah, as we now start hopefully we can get this lap done. As we take out the 100-meter board. Turn one was a lot better. We did find some time compared to our previous lap. We're up by about 200ths of a second. As we now head down into the hairpin, you want to brake about just as that curb starts, or at the 50, down to third. You want to try to get a late apex. I decided to keep tight for this occasion, but I'll try and take a late apex so you can get the power down a lot earlier. But coming into the chicane where we bounced over the curb and then went straight on, we followed the same line, but it's a lot cleaner this time, and we were up by like a 10th or something, and this is where I backed off, so the time is pretty much irrelevant. The delta is pretty much irrelevant now. As we head in towards turn 9, along sweeping left-hander, 4th gear, try and keep it as tight as you can. I do run a little bit wide, so that's probably going to compromise my exit a little bit. As we now head into the hotel section, 3rd gear, and then short shove to 4th on the exit, and then keep it in 4th through the 2 left-handers. Updated for 2021, but didn't come into the game in the F1 games till last year, till F1 22. As we now head into the final corner, and shortest run up to the line, and we go P5 with a 23.0. Also, if you're wondering why my voice sounds a little bit weird, I do have a cold currently. It is getting that time of year where it's getting cold. But yeah, as we now, I think we went back. No, we didn't go back to the garage. We went for no, we did go back to the garage. And we're now going to go for our third and final run, as the first one was invalidated. So yeah. Also, for some reason, they decided to do Abu Dhabi in the day. I don't know why. We did complain to them, but it did get fixed for round 2, which happened yesterday, as I'm editing this. So yeah, as we now start our final push lap then. Here in qualifying for round number 1, turn 1, you can brake just after the 100-meter board, but we run significantly wide. And so I don't decide to back out. I did decide to back out on the last attempt, but I just thought, screw it, I'll just crack on. So yeah, we're currently a 10th down. I didn't actually get noted for that, to be fair. As this race happened last week. So yeah, as I tried to pick up a toe off the Williams, but it was going too slow. So down into the chicane, brake just as the first P0 board floor marker starts. 3rd gear through the chicane, get a little bit of wheel spin on the exit, and now out of turn 8, turn 7 even. You want to keep it to the left. My teammate comes out to give me a little bit of a slipstream. Doesn't kind of work, to be fair. Doesn't work. But yeah, 4th gear through turn 9. We go a lot tighter this time, and we do get a better exit. down into the hotel section. There's a lot of time to find, especially on the brakes, as you saw. It was a little bit scruffy on the first time out that we did, pushing the car to the limits. We're up by 2/10 of a second. Coming into the final corner, you want to brake. Ooh, don't know where to brake. Fourth gear, and then keep it nice and tight to the left-hand side, and we improve by about 4/10, which does sets us a 22.6, and we go P4, and that is where things are going to finish, as I race round to the hairpin to try and give my teammate a little bit of a slipstream. But yeah, this is this is a league that is run by that only college students and university students, I think, can participate in. It's run by Williams Esports alongside British Esports, which is why in the bottom right hand corner the camera, the background is different. That's because I recorded this at college. So yeah, as you can see, I tried to give my teammate a tow. It wasn't the greatest tow. I was a bit too far in front. But honestly, I tried. And to be honest, I could have just cut the chicane and then given him another tow. Because I saw that. But yeah, end of the qualifying, we do finish P4. The way this works is we've got short qualifying, and then for normal rounds, it's just one 50% race. But for a sprint race, we do a one-shot quali and two 25% races for a sprint. But yeah, these happen. Well, they happened 2 Wednesdays in a row. So yeah, as we now head into the strategy, we head into the race for round one, and we're going to start on the medium tires. Now, I did try to see if I could start on the hards, but I chose. I'll start on the mediums, hopefully get a better start, as you'll see in a moment as we go to the grid, is that the top four are actually the top three in front are all on hard tyres. But here we go then to 5 red lights for round number 1 of Student Racing League here in 2023, and it's lights out, and away we go, and we get a good start compared to the Williams on the right hand side. And Robbie Stapleford goes around the. No, that was the Williams driver. As we're still in P4, but we've held opposition as I think an AlphaTauri got spun round in turn 1. As we now head towards the hairpin we go, we're deploying the battery. We're going to try to go as late on the brakes as we can. We're on the medium tyres, so we've got the better grip compared to the 3 people in front. As you can see, all on hard tyres, as the Alpine of Cameron didn't really get a good exit out of the hairpin. We're going to deploy the battery, and we're going to take the slipstream off the Wilmington driver, and we're going to take it onto Robbie, and we're going to get a slingshot down in towards the chicane, second gear, and we're up into second place of round number 1, and we get a big snap of oversteer, but thankfully a safety car gets deployed, and as you can see, we are currently P2, and my reaction is, what a start we had. But yeah, I'm also the only one driving for my college, but thankfully I did get paired with someone else from another college. So yeah, as we now head down in towards the hotel section, we're still under safety car, as I think one of the Hasses binned it on the back straight. But yeah, is anybody gonna make an early call to dive into the pits? I think some people might for damage, but Robbie doesn't, and we don't. Trying to see who does. I don't think anybody goes into the pits, apart from an AlphaTauri. But yeah, as lap 3 comes, the safety car will be in this lap. And now we're just getting all the tires up to temperature, and we're just going to see if we can try and get the jump on Robbie and try and get into first place, and try and lead round number 1 of Student Racing League. So let's see if we can do that as Robbie slows down a little bit more, just to let the safety car get into the pits, which is fine. It's perfectly legal. As we now head into the final corner, I'm currently second gear, third gear, and I put full throttle and we've spun it. No! As we're now blocking the pit entry, but we're waiting for people to go past so we don't join illegally, and the game disqualifies me. So yeah, that's round 1. but don't you worry. We're only 10 minutes into the video, and we're going to move on to Qatar. Now, they did say that I did the correct thing and everything. I just got unlucky. But yeah, we now head into round number 2, which was 1 week later, aka yesterday. And we're here for the Qatar Grand Prix. As we now head into qualifying, start our first time lap. Now, my best lap coming into this was a 21. I think it was 21.009. So I'm not quite in the 20s. But yeah, that was in a short quali session, and my best in time trial was a 21.3, I think. So yeah. But yeah, we're taking it nice and cautious, not trying to push the track limits. Just trying to get a pretty good banker on. And yeah, as we now are heading at the end of sector 1, we are to 26.6, which I don't know if that's quick. We do get a little bit of a toe off the Williams from Wilmington Academy. But yeah, if you see people with square brackets, and like for example mine is LLYK in square brackets, that's just because for the streams, because my split gets streamed on the Williams Esports Twitch channel every week. If I can, I'll leave a link to their Twitch in the description. But yeah, as we now come to close out the lap, we set a purple sector 2, so we definitely got the pace in sector 2. As we now come around the final corner, 4th gear, we went a little bit deep, but we got very early on the power, which is good. Opening up DRS, and are we going to run out of battery deployment? No, and we go P1 with a 21.1, so that is actually a pretty good banker in my books. And we stayed P1 for most of that session, as I went for the harder tyre allocation, so I got 2 sets of hards, 2 sets of mediums, and 2 sets of softs for the race and qualifying. So this is my last set of softs for qualifying, so I only did 2 laps, and my teammate is going to try to give me a tow again. As we now head down in towards turn 1, he's giving me a beautiful tow. Kudos to my teammate for giving me that tow. Head into turn 1, 4th gear, keeping it nice and tight as possible. Run a little bit wide, but it's fine. Turn 2, we go a little bit deep, and we end up going off track. So I decided at the end of this straight to back out, as I was losing time as well. So I decided to back out. I let my teammate back through because he fueled up for way too much fuel. He put way too much fuel in his car. But yeah, we need this lap to count or anything or we are P3. I mean, we're P3 still, so that's good. Only Cameron and Robbie have beaten us so far, but my teammate tries to give me another tow. This time he's a lot further away. He's a bit further away than I'd like. So timed that wrong a bit from my side because we were communicating. We were in a VC for qualifying to get try to get the run. As we go a little bit dirty and a little bit of slipstream. So we are a 10th up coming out of the first bit. As we now pop the battery, the ERS deployment into none after this corner now, as we now head into the slow speed corners of turn 6 and turn 7. And then on the exit of this corner, we do go a little bit deep, but I do get a nice tight line, a good exit. We go back into deployment, into hot lap deployment, and we're still a 10th up as we now head through the last part of the lap. As we now head through turn 11, turn 12, and turn 13 and turn 14, all flat out 7th gear on these soft tyres. As now we head through into the penultimate corner, quick downshift to 6th. We're a little bit wide, but it's fine with regular track limits. As we now head into the final corner, it was a little bit slow getting on the power, and we lose a 10th pretty much alone in the final corner. So if I kept that 10th, I probably would have got into the 20s. But it is P4 yet again. 2 rounds in a row we've qualified P4, so that's consistency in qualifying. But we are 6/10 off pole. Cameron in that Alpine has mega pace compared to me. But yeah, and I think that wasn't my PB. My PB was a 21.009. But my teammate is in P16 for the race, which isn't that great. As we now head into the strategy, this time we are going to start on the hard tires, and I'm going to put a bit more fuel in, as I know Qatar is a fuel-heavy circuit, so try and try not to save as much fuel. But I decided to go with 2 laps extra of fuel, which turned out it probably wasn't going to be enough. But anyway, here we go then. We're going to go, waiting for the Wilmington drivers to ready up. As we're now going to go to 5 red lights for round number 2 of Student Racing League here from Qatar in Losail, and its lights out and a safety car is deployed. I think that's a glitch with the game, apparently, where at the start of a race a safety car may get brought out. But thankfully, we didn't have to wait for the safety car to come out the pit lane, because it was still in the pit lane once the leader had passed it, and the game didn't give us illegal overtakes. So that's good. So we got to do another lap. But we had a safety car delta, as we're now just going to go straight on to lap number 3, where the safety car is going to be out. So it's 2 out of 2. We've had a safety car on lap 1. But yeah, as we now get ready for the safety car restart, nobody pitted. I think just one of the Haas span on lap 2. So I had to catch up, and also one of the Wilmington Academy Williams drivers decided to rear end me, which was very good. But yeah, as we now come to the final corner, we're just waiting on the Alpine of Cameron to bolt out the final corner. He's gone right before, so we struggle with traction. But actually, we get a good getaway, and we're finally racing here from Qatar. We're going to drain the battery, even though it wasn't really a good idea because I was running a high downforce setup. The battery drained pretty quickly, and I couldn't recover it, as you'll see later in the race. But yeah, as we now head through turn 2 and turn 3, I want to go on board for this whole lap, this whole first lap of racing from Qatar, even though it's on lap 4. As we now, as the McLaren, who started on mediums, gets past Cameron, gets into the lead of the race, and yeah, now Cameron and Robbie are going to go side by side through turn 7, as Cameron squeezes Robbie off the track, as I'm just trying to maybe look for an opportunity to pounce and maybe get the jump on Robbie, but I decided to stay behind, as I feel like it's probably the better thing to do is to just stay behind and just try and follow them if I can. as yeah, as we now head to close out our first lap of racing, first racing lap, which is lap 4 in the race, and we're going to try and have a look at Robbie. Not quite. We decided to step back. We did run a little bit wide, which does compromise us, and I'm deploying my battery. And I'm actually getting out of the slipstream because I noticed my engine temps were getting a bit hot. So, yeah, decided to pull out of the slipstream to try and cool the engine temps down. As the cooler your engine is, the more performance you get out of it. I think it was running at like 136 degrees, which isn't that great for performance. As we now head on to lap 9, and an Aston Martin has span at the start of sector 2. And also a Haas has span out the final corner, which in the end deploys a safety car. So we've had 2 safety cars in 9 laps, and we've only had about 4 laps of racing. 4 laps of green flag running, I should say. But yeah, as I decide to select the mediums, and then the team decide to go for a double medium on the strategy, which is I'm gonna follow that. Let's see how it goes. But we are gonna get off these hard tires, as I'm not really gonna expect another safety car, and I'll lose loads of places. So yeah, as we're gonna we're gonna, as I said before, we're gonna box, and we're gonna go for the medium tire. as you would have seen. So yeah, as we come towards the end of the lap to box, it looks like everybody else is going to be boxing as well. So they obviously think that their tyres won't go till, like, they won't be in a safety car until their scheduled pit stop lap, as we get a little bit too eager on the throttle and we're going into the wall on the pit entry. Thankfully, the game teleported me this time. And this time, and yeah, we got away with it. We only lost a couple of places, but thankfully the team managed to get a front wing out straight away and changed it. So that's good. So I didn't have to go and pit again. But yeah, we are P8, about to be P9. As we now, as my teammate didn't stop, as he was too close to perform a double stack maybe. But yeah, as we're now just going to catch up to the safety car queue and get ready to go racing again. Once the safety car peels into the pit lane, which, yeah. I think so far the race has been going well. We have lost a couple of places, but yeah, as we're now going to head on to lap 11, which is one lap later than the lap that we pitted. The safety car is going to peel into the pit lane. I'm going to get back under green flag running here from Qatar. There is a reason why there isn't any game sound. That's just because in qualifying, I'm in a VC with my teammate, and I don't know if he wants to be on YouTube or anything, so that's why there's no audio from the game or me. My mic's muted because I didn't want people. I didn't want to get the background noise from people in the esports room that I'm in at college. But as you can see, the leader went and then slowed down out of the final corner, which is illegal. I have reported this, but at this moment in time, I don't know what the outcome will be. I'll probably find out tomorrow. So as I'm recording this, as I'm editing this, even. But yeah, as we're going to get past our teammate, as he was very slow, as we actually tapped the back of him coming out of turn 1. So we have lost a bit of ground to the front runners due to just being held up by our teammate. But yeah, as we now head down into turn 7, as the gap is about half a second, as Wilmington driver 2 in the Williams, who both Wilmington drivers didn't pit under that safety car, by the way. So they're going to be really slow with their tyre wear compared to our fresh mediums. And yeah, we're gonna try and maybe look for a move on the Williams coming into the fast right-handers. He goes pretty deep, and that invites us up the inside, but he blocks us off, and then we touch the sausage curbs and they spin out. Now, in my opinion, I thought he cut me off, so I tried to avoid him. But yeah, we'll see what the stewards say. I did report this one as well. But yeah, we do get past driver 2, and we give him a little bit of a we give him a little bit of a move towards. But as you can see, both Wilmington drivers are actually struggling on their tyres, as driver 1, who I know is faster than me, was now ahead of me, now he's right behind me. As now lap 14, down in towards the final corner, we get the DRS has been enabled by this point. We get down the inside of Chan in the Haas, and we do get the DRS. And the DRS should encounter as our to keep our straight line speed up to stay ahead of the Haas, which it does into turn 1, and we're up and into P12 then. And you can just see that people are struggling on the hards, as you can already see just through two turns alone. We've 2-3 turns. We've already nearly broken the second gap to the Haas behind, and we're now all over the back of the second Haas into turn 6. And we may look for maybe a switch back into turn 7, but we decide to back out and I go in the wrong gear as I'm having to short shift up to it. But the Haas doesn't get a good exit out of turn 7, so we have looked up the inside, but decide to back out again as we're now coming through turn 10, 9, 10. We get a big snap of oversteer, which is going to compromise us a little bit as we went side by side. So we're going to try to go side by side through these fast sections. I downshift just so that I'm not understeering off the track. Down into the third to last corner and into the bottom right corner. We're going to try getting with DRS down the main straight. And then that'll launch us up and into P11. And then it's a 3-second gap to the Alfa Romeo in front as we open up DRS down the main straight. We're going to go side by side with the Haas driver. Down the main straight, we're going towards turn 1 and we get the job done way before the braking zone and we move up into P11. And the gap to P10 is 3 seconds. So we've got quite a bit of work to do. I know I'm faster than these drivers. I think the only ones that I struggle to keep with is the top 3. But yeah, I think, yeah, as we now going towards turn 6 on lap 16, and we've already closed the gap by 7/10, and we've already broken a second to the car behind. It just shows pitting for fresh mediums was the better option, as Daniel went a bit deep into turn 7, caused him to go off track. So that's another. So we're now into the points as we now head on to lap number 17, the following lap, as we're now catching up to the Alfa Romeo. You can see we are now within that 1 second gap to get the DRS, and this could be the best result that we get. As we're now going to have a look, going into turn 1 maybe. You need to get a good exit compared to the Alfa Romeo. We're going to open up the DRS. We're not going to deploy any battery for now, but we may deploy some battery. We're going to choose not to go into the slipstream, but we are going to choose to go in the slipstream late. Move over a little bit. We're going to go around the outside in towards turn 1, and we're going to get a little bit of snap of oversteer on the exit, get the power down a little bit too early as we're heading towards turn 2, and we get the move done. We do squeeze him out a little bit. Honestly, I don't know if Stuart's going to say anything about that, but as we're now going towards turn 4, the Alfa Romeo has a look up the inside. We're going to keep it around the outside, keep it pinned, and we get the move done. We get a big slide out of turn 5 in towards turn 6, the hairpin. Try to go for the switchback, and again, traction lets us down, and we end up going into the gravel and losing a lot of time, and that invites Daniel to come back and maybe take P10 off me as we're now heading towards sector 3. We go a little bit deep into turn 11 or turn 10, I can't remember. And as we now head through the fast right-handers, we're still P10, but the gap is still 2/10 to the car to Daniel behind. But I'm very strong through this. I'm very strong through, I think pretty much sector 1, definitely sector 3. I'm not sure about sector 1 or sector 2 compared to others, as the Aston Martin of Marco pits on lap 18, going on to lap 19 for another set of mediums. We are being told to box this lap. I am going to go against that, and I'm not going to box as the tyres still feel good, even though we've had a couple of overstay moments. As we're going to have a look down the inside of turn 2 as Daniel went a little bit wide, tried to get the better exit, made a little bit of contact, made a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, which is fine. As we now head into the end of sector 1 and into sector 2, I'm going to try to go for a George Russell dive bomb into turn 6. Yes, we are, but Daniel covers it off. He knew I was going to try to do that. As we're now alongside Daniel, as we head down in towards turn 7, we're going to brake a little bit early, let him go a little bit deeper, get the power down, and we're going to go for a switchback of dreams on the Red Bull, and we're up and into P9 again of this Qatar Grand Prix, as we go a little bit off track there, and we get a little bit of a snap as well to counteract that. But yeah, as we now head onto lap number 20, the following lap, we've got yellow flag behind as Daniel's binned it, I think, as Lewis is out on the main straight, and that's triggered a third safety car, which has helped me a lot because I'm still on these mediums, which I was scheduled to box about a lap or two ago. So we're gonna box now, get a free pit stop. Marco is obviously gonna stay out because he just boxed 2 laps ago, so he obviously didn't realize that the safety car was gonna come out. And to be honest, neither did I. I was just like, I'm not gonna box. I'm just gonna stay. I'll just stay out and see if a safety car comes out, and because I was gonna go to softs, I think, by like lap 23, lap 24, maybe. But the fact that safety car came out, pretty much meant I was gonna box. I was on and on whether to go softs or mediums. Both my softs were used, from qualifying, so I decided to go for a fresh set of mediums, as I knew I could just push them, for the rest of the race and not having to worry about tyre wear on the softs, about the amount of wear that's on them. I think there's probably going to be like 5 or 6% of wear on those softs, as the Alfa Romeo does go for the soft tyres in front, but then suddenly realizes that we have all gone mediums, and so he he boxed at the end of lap 21. As we're now going to catch the safety car queue. We still have the Delta for some reason, but yeah, I'm just going to try and see this race out. If we can get more points, then that'll be good. As one of the Haas drivers decides to come out of the pits on the Inters, tries to test them out. That's what he said in the commentary when this was streamed. The streams happen on a Wednesday, but round 3 isn't till the 31st of January. So yeah, I will let you know. Well, I'll try to let you know when that will happen. But as we head on to lap 23, as you can see, the Alfa Romeo is actually 2 places behind us, as he decided to box getting onto a set of mediums. But yeah, as we're now just going to go front of the safety car restart. And actually, the Haas behind is on softs, so which I keep him behind. I've got no tyre temp, as you can see, on the fronts at least. But yeah, as we now head round the final penultimate corner, I'm about to head into the final corner, and we're going to see if we can see out this race. Hopefully get some more points, and yeah, as we now, again, they've done it again where we've all gone and then slowed down again. But this time the Haas actually overtook me, so he had to give that place back. He also gave the place back to the Alfa Romeo, I think, as an Aston Martin over there, on the Williams actually, as the Aston Martin was getting out of the way, as he was a lapped car. But yeah, as we're now back under green flag running, and we're going to try and catch up to Ethan in the Red Bull. As I think this is all uncut until like lap 26 or something. So as there's just a whole lot of action, as you're about to find out, as we are very close to Ethan, and actually Wilmington driver 1 has a 5-second penalty, I'm guessing for speeding in the pit lane. But yeah, as we now head in towards sector 3, I put both my headphones on so that I can concentrate for the remaining laps. So now we do lose a bit of time on the exit, but I think that's just because they deployed their battery and I didn't. As I know that if I deploy all my battery, I'm not getting that back. So yeah, as actually the Ferrari of Jack actually picked up a drive-through under the last safety car, so he is in the pits to serve that drive-through. As we're now going down the main straight, we're picking up the slipstream. I'm not really worrying about temperatures, engine temperatures yet, but I think I might pull out of the slipstream pretty soon because I think I realise that the engine temps are getting quite hot. But anyway, as my teammate actually disconnected from the session, And yeah, as we now head down in towards turn 6, we're not going to try to do the George Russell special, as the last Red Bull that we tried to do it on knew I was doing it and blocked me off. So, as we now head lap 25, as the McLaren and the Red Bull are going to go side by side, we're going to try to look for a pocket of space to try and counter on this, as we're just going to try follow Ethan through. We would have really got into the back of the McLaren there. We're going to deploy a bit of the battery as we head down in towards sector 3. We're going to go for the cutback, and we get the move done on Ethan. I thought I actually went off track there, but actually I didn't. And now we get on those sausage curbs again. Don't want a repeat of what happened with the second Williams, as now the McLaren is going very slow, as we're clearly faster than the McLaren. As we now head on to the back straight. Now this is a battle for P6 after James had to serve his drive through, as Ethan's going to have a look down the inside in towards turn 1, as we now head down into in turn 2. We got the inside line, and we do get the move done on Ethan without squeezing him out. Goes to the switchback, and actually the Williams of the Wilmington driver 1 actually I think he ran a little bit wide and then got on the gravel, which caused him to lose the car, and his car looped round. So yeah, and also I think he then retired on track, which is illegal. But yeah, as we now head down in towards turn 7, we are very close behind the McLaren. As you can see, he does retire on track, so we could get a quali ban for that, maybe, if they're doing quali bans in this league. I don't quite know. I think they do. But yeah, if now DRS has been enabled, if you didn't catch that, and as you can see, I'm trying to stay behind him so that I get the DRS, but he knows I'm trying to stay behind him. So this is what happens. So as I think my teammate decided to invite me back, wanted to invite back, as he actually just slows right down. We're literally 5th gear, 150 mile an hour. I'm getting annoyed, and then he ends up getting the DRS. So he's basically just played the DRS game, but he's done it illegally because he's held up about 5 of us there. As now we're coming down in towards turn 1 again, and I'm just trying to block this McLaren getting past, as I know that if he gets past, he's just going to play DRS games again. So I'm not wanting that. So I'm just going to try run away now, break the DRS, which I know I can do, and try stop him from making those that error. As we now head on to the last lap then of this Qatar Grand Prix from Student Racing League, we've broken the gap to 3.6 seconds. We've actually closed the gap to the Aston Martin in P5 to about 3.8 seconds. As we're now heading around the final corner, it's close between the McLaren and the Alpine, but the McLaren gets it, as I think Cameron may have had a penalty. I'm not sure. I wasn't really interested, but we did get a P6, so that is good. As you can see, my tutor there is a very supportive there. And actually, Cameron did win it by 36 thousandths of a second. Got to see that one again. As my teammate in AI mode finishes in P13. But yeah, that is the first points on the board for my college and the Mercedes team. But yeah, P6, which is, I think it's 8 points. So yeah, as the Alfa Romeo gets driver of the day in game. I haven't seen who the commentator's driver of the day was. But yeah. Yeah. As you can see, the Alpine winning it by 38 thousandths of a second in the end. And yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. If you have enjoyed Student Racing League, I will leave a link to Williams Esports Twitch channel in the description down below, and I will catch you all in the next Student Racing League episode. But that's been me, 0141, over and out. Peace.